Hey everyone! I've previously done a series where I did a lot of the Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 scenarios, but I tried to make them as beautiful as possible. Now I thought to myself, what if I did the absolute opposite of that? What if I tried to do these scenarios, but tried to make them miserable for the guests in every possible way? So today I'm going to do Forest Frontiers, but awful. Alright, we're now in Forest Frontiers. You probably all know this scenario. Deep in the forest, build a thriving theme park in a large cleared area. Now, I don't really give a damn about the restriction that the game imposes on us. So I will disable all money, and I will also make sure that we will have all attractions and all scenery that's possible to work with. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to make a nice looking border around the park, because I don't really like the way these park fences look. Alright, I think we're off to a great start. As you can see, I built a nice little fence around the park using these chain link fences from the expansions. And I've also built some towers over here, which will later have security guards to keep the guests inside the park safe. And you can see I also redid some of the foliage inside the park using these trees from the Spooky set. And I also did some land texturing. Now, the next thing I want to do in the park is to give it a nice entrance. Now, there's one thing that's still missing from the entrance, and that's a nice sign to welcome the guests to the park. So let's put the sign over here. Now it says park entrance, but we need a better text there, so we'll put welcome. There we go. Alright, now it's time to add some attractions to the park. And what I think I'll start with is a nice and simple shoestring Ferris wheel. Alright, we're now in July year 2, and I've built the first actual ride of the park. Here you can see the Ferris Wheel. Now this is not sped up. This is actual real-time footage. Well, of course now the guests are getting in, but you could see how fast it was spinning. Now here you can also see the stats of the ride. Yeah, it's pretty extreme, but the funny part is since this is I changed the ride into a lift type, which is a transport ride, so guests will ride it regardless of its stats. So yeah, that's I think that's quite funny. Okay, with this done, I am going to do now is finally add a roller coaster to the park. Okay, you probably all recognize this ride. This is of course a boomerang. I called it Doomerang, but this is not your typical boomerang, but this is one that has been ordered from China. So yeah, let's just quickly give it a test and see how it performs. So here it goes up the lift hill. Oh dear, something looks to be wrong, and gets released. And yeah, I guess that's what you get when you order your coasters from China. Now these guests in my park, I think they all look a little bit too colorful. So I think I could prevent that by selling them some merch. So yeah, time to build a nice souvenir stall here. Alright, I've built a little souvenir building here with several shops inside of it. Now guests don't really seem to be buying any of this stuff yet, but I'm sure they will later after I add more rides. Now something which I forgot to do is also add a sign here on the back for the guests who are leaving the park to welcome them back. So it's please come back. There we go. Alright, next ride I'm going to add is a log flume. I think it will fit really nicely over here. Okay, here you can see the new log flume that I built. I called it Dunk Flume for obvious reasons. Yeah, when you ride this, you're recommended to hold your breath and not actually bring any electronic devices with you on the ride. Actually, I would recommend to not ride this at all. Now, something which we don't really have yet in the park is a place for guests to buy some food and some drinks. So that's what I will build next. Alright, I've now made a little area for the guests where they can buy some food and some drinks. And I went with the great combination of seafood and coffee. What more could a guest want? Now, with the guests' food and drink needs taken care of, I think it's now time to order another coaster from China. Alright, here you can see the new Chinese coaster. Now I partly based this layout on a typical coaster module that you will see often in China. I believe it's actually first was built by Vekoma, and then later Chinese companies started building this layout as well, and now you will see them a lot over there. Now this one doesn't really have a powerful motor for the chain lift, so yeah, it struggles to make it up the lift hill, and later also it just barely has enough speed to actually make it through the inversions here. Speed it up a little bit. You can see it just makes it through the loop and also through the next inversions. So yeah, pure quality, as you can see. Now I also tried to make the paint look like it has faded. So it's this dull color of red, and it actually has two shades throughout the track. So it could definitely use a new paint job. And finally, again here at the end is the brake section, and I tried to make this last section just as painstakingly slow as possible. Now as for the theming, just a bit of graveyard. So I want to do something else graveyard themed in this last section of the park. Okay, here's my graveyard themed ride. So yeah, it's called Mr. Bones Wild Ride. You can see Mr. Bones. Now this is of course not as big a version of the Wild Ride as the original, and this one also might actually end. It says here that the ride never ends, or does it? So yeah, guests will make their way all across this track several times, and until finally here they reach the end, where they take a nice bath. So now you actually also know who these gravestones are actually for. Alright, I think that's all the space I have for attractions. Now there's actually something which we don't have in the park yet, and that's toilets. And yeah, I think we can actually make some toilets over here. So and let's call it the grave. And let's make the building invisible. There we go. I guess now can do what they need to do on top of this this grave. Alright, what I'm going to do now is just add decoration all throughout the park in the spots that still need some filling up. And I will also give all my patrons a spot in the park as an entertainer. Alright, I've added lots more details to the park, but more importantly, I've added 60 entertainers, and I'm going to name all of them after my patrons. Right, all entertainers have now been named after patrons. Now, if you want to find your spot in the park, you can download this park from my Discord server. It's completely free. And yeah, I just hope you all enjoy your spot in the park. And once again, thanks a lot for supporting me. And if you also want to support me on Patreon, you can find a link to my Patreon channel in the video description. Alright, Forest Frontiers but Awful is done. I think it will be fun to take a short tour through the park and go over everything that was built in this episode. Now, first off, there's of course the entrance path, surrounded by lovely scenery. Then over here you can see the iconic squirrel hedge sculptures, let's call it like that. Then over here we see the entrance to the park with a lovely sign to welcome the guests. Now we have several entrances for all kinds of different guests, and you can also get an annual pass for the low price of 1 kidney. Over here we have a Ferris Wheel, goes at a reasonable speed, and it's the cause of most of the vomit you will see in the park. We have 5 handymen, they're barely able to keep up. Over here we have a little souvenir stall, which sells brown shirts and hats. Not too many guests are actually buying them, but we can see a few of them here and there. Now over here we see a boomerang, but it doesn't really perform well, so it only makes it part way up the spike on the back. Over here we see a log flume, and yeah, it let's just say it gets the guests really soaked. It's probably wise to hold your breath for a while while going down the drops. Over here is a little area where guests can buy coffee and seafood. Great combination, I think. And they can also eat it here on the benches that have not been broken yet. There's still a few remaining. Now, and over here we have a compact inverted coaster bought from China. It's called Hell Condor, and yeah, the paint is a little bit faded, and the chain lift motor also has seen better times. That's why it takes so extremely long to make it up the lift hill. I'm speeding up the game a little bit now. But yeah, the coaster also has some pacing issues, as you might be able to see. It just barely makes it over the loop and also through these inversions. And finally, here in the corner we see a version of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, but one that actually does end. So let's see if we can see it in action. Again, speeding up a little bit. And here the ride ends for the guest. And I guess that's not the only thing that ends for these guests. Okay, that was Forest Frontiers, but awful. Now, I had a lot of fun making this. I also hope you had fun watching this. If you liked this video, please consider giving the video a like. It would really help out my channel. And of course, if you want to see more videos like these, you can always subscribe to my channel. Now, please let me know in the comments what you think of this video and if I should make more videos of other scenarios in this style. Alright, that was it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.